lottery and lose it in a year?
I'm trying my best not to be that asshole. I had a guy at my fucking work who he was so obese that they laughed at him because he was in one of those stand-up forklifts, you know.
Oh,
so he had to like.
Or the one where you like spin the little wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried. He had like a buzz cut and like, dude, he won. I'm not even joking. He won the fucking scratch off 3 times for 30 grand.
For 30 grand?
30 grand. He won it 3 times.
The best I've done is like $5 on one of those things.
30. He won 30 grand. Bought a brand new Harley. Trashed it. Won 30 grand again. Bought a brand new Harley. Every time it was a Harley. I'm like, dude, you could have like not had to fucking work here anymore if you just saved your money. But all right, I'm gonna see if everything's recording okay. Just double check. I hate recording with a phone. It's just I get paranoid. Anyways,
are we good?
We're good. We are good. Ready to get wild?
Let's get wild.
This is Wild Phil's Osophy. This is Wild Phil with Wild Phil's Osophy. Let's get wild. We are here today with fellow local Chicagoland comedian Chris Danger Bongat.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Chris, I owe so much to because I was terrified to go on stage again and do comedy, and him and TJ kind of pushed me back on stage, and God damn it, I forgot my lighter.
Here you go.
Or I got it. I need a blowtorch.
Well, let's not give me too much credit for that yet, because that makes me responsible for anything that you say now.
Anything that I...
And now it's going to be like, it's your fucking
you
fault.
encourage this.
You've made this monster. But anyways, so this is episode, I think, 16, 17. I don't know, and who cares? Anyways, so how has it been going, Chris? What's been new?
I just came back from hiatus, and I got some shows coming up, so I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Nice. What was the hiatus? Should I ask?
I was like sexually harassed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't
if you don't want to
that.
talk about it, it's fine. Like,
it was just like, I mean, that's basically what happened. It was just like some dude was being a creep.
oh, now I remember. It was
Yeah.
Oh, let's dig into this.
He was.
He said it.
He was someone I knew from my past. He was straight at the time we were friends, and we used to joke around. But then he came out as gay, and then he was like, we should probably stop pretend flirting with each other. You know how guys do, because
Yeah.
you know, and I'm
Get to the
comfortable.
point.
Like whatever. I was like, that's cool, man. Whatever. You know, I don't care that you're gay or whatever. But then he started escalating,
Oh.
and then so he started doing shit like he would put his hand on my thigh when we were drinking.
Oh, shit.
Weird.
Yeah, and like rub my inner thigh like up there, and I'd be like wearing shorts. I'd feel his warm hand on my balls.
That is fucking weird.
And he would get me super drunk, and then he'd be like, I mean, this might be too much information, but I just cleaned my asshole, and I'd have to pretend like I didn't know why he was telling me that.
That's great information.
And then right at one of the worst ones, like at a wedding, right in front of people, he was like, how drunk do you need to be to let me fuck you? And I was like, dude, we're friends, man. You don't say stuff like that to your friends.
Yeah, what the...
So I stopped being friends with him, and then he saw me again like years later, and this time he wasn't like, he was just like hassling me. He kept like, you know, chanting my name from like a crowd, and he wouldn't leave me alone, so I had to leave.
Like, Hercules.
Yeah, it was rough, and it just reminded me of the time that he did all that stuff to me, so I was like, I need a fucking timeout.
Shit, I'm sorry you went through that.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially if you're like, you don't fuck around with that
Yeah.
stuff. Because I don't take a lot of things seriously. And I had, actually it was, I was in a pretty cringe situation as well. When I was releasing my first Krollklex psychedelic album, I was best friends with this gay dude who I still, as the stereotype goes, amazing artist, like graphic design and everything. And the whole fucking time, he like had a crush on me. I didn't even know.
It happens.
Like I was trying to go out with, the reason why I couldn't go out with his best friend was because he was cock blocking me to her. In a sense, like I was trying to ask her out, and he'd be like, "Well, he's not wearing flannel, and he doesn't have a beard, so that's not in." I would pass on him, and I'm just like, "Holy shit, this is a challenge." I gotta get this girl wet, and it's got to be like gay friend approved, you know.
Jesus.
So it was just, oh my god. And then what was even crazier, when his friend, he met a dude online that he was supposed to start going out with, but they didn't work out. And I thought he was like an okay, like he was a good friend. He was a good person. He came here all the way from San Francisco, and the craziest fucking thing was, then he got a crush on me that I didn't know, and he would talk to me for years I'm so lonely in San Francisco, and I'm just like, dude, you're like trying to get me to send some dick pics or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds weird.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Dude.
Here's another dick pic.
And I felt so bad because after I would like still talk to him because I'm like, maybe he is lonely, and yeah, he ended up ODing on like fentanyl.
Oh,
It was fucking crazy. I was like, all right, in memory of this guy, now I'll send a dick pic.
Jesus.
No, it was fucking, it was crazy.
You feel shitty knowing that one, maybe two dick pics could have saved his life.
Yeah. You know, not all dick pics are bad things, I guess. I don't know.
No.
What about you, Carlos? You ever been harassed by someone?
Like by a gay dude?
Yeah. Or
I
anybody?
wouldn't say harassed. I've had a... So I used to work, actually, a shitty-ass fucking Family Dollar. And I remember this older Indian dude, he came in, and I was like an assistant manager. And he came in, and he was telling me something, but it wasn't really coherent. He was like, and he had like this big fucking obnoxious smile, like a very bright white smile.
Yeah.
And he had like
With your stupid perfect teeth, you
he
asshole.
had like
So
a
it's
very sex offender look,
So it was like every scene in a Jordan Peele movie.
basically.
That stare and
And the dude, he's telling me something, and I'm not hearing it. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, like I don't know what you're looking for. And he like pointed to the door, and he went outside, and he's out there, and he's like this, like smiling at me. I was like, oh, he's probably complaining about somebody here. Like he's probably complaining to me about something. So I go outside, like, what's up? And he's like, oh, I'm new and around here, and I don't know the area, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. Still, it's not quite registering. I'm like, what? And he hands me a card for a Hilton down the road. And he goes, so if I want company, maybe, whatever. You're so cute and all that stuff. I'm like, what? No. Like, dude, no. Fucking what the fuck?
I'm new here.
Like, I was fucking, yeah.
Would you like me to plow you in your shit?
As mature as a 19-year-old can handle it. I took the card. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? What the fuck? Like, no, dude, I'm good. I'm good. So I went back inside, and I got back to work, and I told the girl I was working with. And she looked over, she goes, them Indian dudes got money. I was just like, I don't know if there's enough money for me to suck a dick.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well...
I think she was being incredibly insensitive. This is something that's specific to us right now. Like, women will never understand what it's like to be harassed by men. All right? This has only happened to us.
It's just us, man.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, what's... Jeez.
It's so dangerous for us out there.
But I realize
You wouldn't understand.
But I realize you mentioned you don't think he has enough money for you to suck his dick. So what is enough money, Carlos? My mom just died, and I got that inheritance.
Well...
I would do it. I would
If
do
we're
it
talking
just in
about
your
numbers.
mom's, honor.
Yeah.
I'm not a monster.
As long as you think about her while you're doing it.
You'd have to make sure that I'm not working ever again.
Anyways, so I gotta like, this kind of segues into this episode, like, subject of work. But so here's what's crazy. So recently, I was like, I was editing a intro video for this podcast format recently. So I was like, I got to go look up all this wild shit that I did on video, right? And I'm going through these photos, and I find this photo. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So let me tell you what I want to tell you guys a quick, like.
There's one I'm surprised you didn't include in there.
What?
I was waiting for it.
What?
The fucking the Buffalo Bill dance in the hall.
No, what is that? You go ahead with this.
You did a fucking buffalo. It was like, I remember I was watching one of your music videos, and I see it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Like, it
yeah,
caught me
yeah.
off guard. You did the cock tuck and the fucking dance in the hall.
Yeah, and I had a wig on. Yeah,
I'm surprised that's not in there. I think you're trying to make it kid friendly.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know if YouTube will like promote it, like, I don't know. But anyways, so I'm looking through these photos. the reason why I'm catching up on like I'm not being able to put this into words is because the other day I was sitting by a campfire and somebody goes, "So, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you?" And they started sharing death stories, and I'm just like, no. Death isn't this weird as this story. And here's what happened. I was working at a Jewel. I worked at Jewel twice in 2 separate occasions of my life when obviously things were not going good. And I was working at this Jewel by Mount Prospect, and dude, you meet the weirdest fucks in Jewel already. But this particular one was in a U-shaped, surrounded by U-shaped of trailer park, and then the whole front was construction. So you either got like really geeked out meth heads or really fucking angry people because they're like, "Oh, I got to get flowers for my wife," but it takes a half hour to park because of all the construction. So I'm working there, and they hired this new guy. He was like, at the time, I don't know, I was like 27. I think he was like 16. This kid, Sal. And I see this kid. He just looks like a typical, stereotypical Italian dude. Like the guy that... He looks like one of Sebastian Maniscalco's fucking nephews or some shit. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to really talk to him. He looks like one of those Italian douchebags. Like he didn't make the audition for Jersey Shore.
Greasy hair.
Yeah, fucking grease ball. But so I didn't want to talk to him. But then I talked to him one day, and he was like being so nice. I'm like, dude, are you like fucking with me? Because you look like an asshole. I didn't know how to tell him. You look like an asshole, but you're like really nice, actually. And he's like, no, I what do you mean? I would never mess with anybody. I'm not a sinner. So I ended up finding out he's in some weird trailer park Christian culty shit, right? And everybody would fuck with him, and they made fun of him, and I'm just like, I felt bad for him. I'm like, he doesn't know any fucking better. He's like all wrapped up in this religious shit. So one day I come into work, and everyone's like laughing their ass off. He runs out crying, and he leaves home early. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, these fucking assholes. They fucked with this fucking guy again. They're like, oh, Phil, you gotta see what happened. I'm like, I don't even want to know. You messed with Sal again. And they're like, yeah, but dude, you gotta see his Facebook photo. You gotta see. I'm like, so I'm just imagining. I'm like, no, I don't want to see it because I don't want to fuck with this fucking poor, awkward, fucking borderline autistic kid. So, of course, later on that night, I had to go see it. But I ended up, dude, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, he's a religious kid, so what would you think they would laugh at? I'm thinking it would be a photo of him, like, kissing a crucifix, or some shit.
Something cheesy.
Or, like...
Maybe him in his, like, the fucking, choir boy outfits or something like that.
Yeah. Like, looking up to the sky, and it's, like, airbrushed. It's basically something you'd find on
Little
a Puerto Rican's
hands.
back tattooed.
Yeah, basicday.
So I like
only God can judge me.
It was worse than I can imagine. It was a picture. The title of it is the best, but I'll tell that at the end. It's a picture of his dad in his underwear, and his dad looks like the fat dude in Sopranos, the one that like what I'm talking about, big pussy.
Yeah.
Imagine his dad in his tighty whities, spooning with him in his tighty whities, and then he's spooning with his cat. And then the name of the picture is, watch out, it's the Three Musketeers Strike Back. And I'm just like,
I mean, that was like comedy gold if he was doing it ironically.
Yeah. But I'm like, dude, I think this kid might be getting raped, Like,
that kid's getting fondled. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The only thing missing is like the priest right behind all of them in his tiny white.
Jesus.
Kept the collar on.
I approve of all this. My sons.
It's the Trinity. The Holy Trinity.
The cat's just like, wow, and just skippity paps one of their ball sacks, like. But anyways, so what I guess if there's any more updates, I don't know. I guess as far as the comedy world, yeah, I started doing comedy more because of Chris hosting Jerks at Joe's with TJ way back. They got new hosts now, but me and Chris are actually going to do a roast battle.
That's right.
In November, what was it, 11th, I think?
I think so, yeah, the Lincoln Lodge.
Yeah.
Is that a Tuesday?
It's a Thursday because they do it on Thursdays.
I'll go check it out.
So like 7. It'll be nice. I'm really fucking nervous. It's my first roast, so it'll be a fun thing. It's fun. But other than that,
He's collecting shit on you right now.
yeah,
That's okay.
He's
That's
gathering
what
it right
you're
now.
supposed to do for a roast. It's fine.
he just got a tape recorder on him. He's like, dude, I'm gonna shit on
I only came here just to look at his shit.
keep oversharing, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's taking pictures on the way out.
So, yeah, Phil's got this pile of cat shit in the corner of this room. There's just
What?
flies.
Is it? Do you really?
No.
You son of a bitch.
No. Anyways, so today's episode, I kind of wanted to especially when we don't have guests, but it's even better with having a guest, have like a main topic on each episode. And I wanted to have an episode where we just shit on or talk about the most bizarre fucking work stories, like molested Sal, and ironic, like good timing. Something has happened to you at work recently, right?
Right, yeah. I just recently walked out of a job without a 2 weeks notice. And I've never done that. It was the first time.
What were you doing?
I was working in shipping for this company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say where they are, but it was in Oak Brook Terrace. And
Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, fuck you, Eversource. Whatever. I'm not gonna ask them for a goddamn referral anyway.
Shit, I used to go to that fucking terrace to dump garbage when one of the jobs I worked at.
Yeah, really?
The Shade store is there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I worked at this place, and they were just like dicking me around for like so many people had quit. Like at that point that I quit, I'd been there for a year, and I already was the senior member on the team. I've only been there for a year, and I was already the oldest member on the team, just because everyone left so many times. Even my boss was only there for like 2 months by the time I quit.
Door.
Right, yeah. That's how the industry is. But basically, they were dicking me around for a promotion. They said, it's between you and your coworker. And the only reason they told us that, because like most people, when you're up for promotion, they just tell you that you might get it or whatever. They don't tell you specifically who's your enemy.
They wanted you to
And
compete.
they wanted us to compete. It was my coworker because like a couple months before, you know how you're not supposed, they don't like it when you discuss how much you make.
Yeah.
We all got together and we talked about it.
They don't want you to do is get together and form a fucking union.
Right, basically. And that's kind of what happened. Like some of us segued into getting raises once we realized how much everyone was making. And I don't think they like that. So they put us up for this promotion against each other to try to separate us. But we didn't fall for it. And then so since we didn't fight over it, finally when it came down to it, they came up to us the next day and they were like, well, you guys just seemed like you wanted enough. And I was like, oh, is that, because
You seem like you wanted it up?
we didn't seem like we wanted it enough. That's what they said.
Oh.
That was it. I was like, what do you mean? I didn't know I needed to explain to someone that I like more money.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Basically, what it was is we just didn't fight over it.
No, I like it more.
Right.
No, I like it more.
Kind of fucking megalomaniacs.
Right. And I was like, well, fine, whatever. I'm still going to ask for a raise. And I asked for a raise and they just denied me because they said they didn't have the money. But I was like, they've been hiring like temps like crazy. Temps who would like every day had a mental breakdown and would leave. So we'd had to keep replacing them.
Yeah.
And I was like,
This sounds very familiar to
Stop
me.
wasting the money on the temps and just fucking give me a raise and I'll pick up more slack. Because I can, and it will be fine. But since they didn't do that, they just tried to like save money and get temps in for like nickels on the fucking. And the other thing was like, I know they had the money for it because they had to give us raises anyway. But so they weren't going to give me a raise after a year either. Like it was supposed to be a raise, and they just didn't have it in the budget. And I was like, this is like bullshit, So what was the other thing? They said.
So how much were you making? I'm your rival now.
How much was it?
I want the job more than you.
No. I wasn't making enough.
Was it hourly or salary?
It was hourly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just like a bunch of bullshit. They were trying to skip corners and stuff like that. And I just, and I finally asked for the raise and they didn't want to do it. And I was like, fine. But the thing with that is I was the only one in charge of the warehouse, the way it works. They had such a skeleton crew. And I warned them actually 6 months prior because I was like, listen, you guys don't have a good system for remembering where all the freight is in this warehouse. And I'm basically just memorizing it right now.
Yeah.
So when I left, they still hadn't fixed that. So I took that with me.
Dude,
so they have to go through each individual box now and look into it to see what it is because I didn't write anything down.
Management in every company is fucking mentally challenged.
What did the
That's-
company
that's the
do
way to put it.
exactly? What do they do?
We worked in shipping, so we would ship things internationally for another company.
But
So you were
was
like
it
a logistics company.
Kind of, but on like a much lower level. I'm used to having jobs that have like much higher stakes than that.
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason it was almost like insulting that they would be like, "You're not qualified to make this. I'm qualified to make way more than this. I'm just asking for a little bit more."
Yeah.
You know.
Dude,
And-
fucking temp agencies too. They're such vultures with that shit.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
cocksuckers.
Like, you want to know what happened with me? Tell me, this is some
What?
this is some wild Phil shit. I was with Aerotech, because fuck them. I don't know if I'll mention my current job name, just because I like it there.
until you lose it.
Yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah. No. So I was with Aerotech, which is temp agency in Chicago. I was with them for fucking 10 fucking years, and I was there as a TIG welder, which for anybody who doesn't know is like the most skilled welding. It's like the one that they look for jobs for the most, and I could dude, they would literally, I'm not even joking, I would get calls like, "Hey, you still looking to weld? Well, we got something for you. Head chef at Denny's." It's like welding, right?
Were you on
Yeah.
Indeed? Because that's what they do.
No. I was just in their database, and they're a bunch of fucking car salesmen for desperate people.
Right.
So they're just like, yeah, instead of laying liquid metal, you're decorating the cake. No, like, quit fucking calling me. And ironically, this is the funniest shit. I go to a fucking party, and there's just this one girl there who. Do you remember Zena?
That sounds familiar. Was that the chick that was always high?
Yeah.
And she ended up fucking hanging out with Omar Salazar all the time.
Yeah, dude, this chick always smelled like weed. Always, and never vapes, always smoked flower, and just always fucking high. Her
It
like
came out of her pores at that
her
point.
whole fucking mannerism and shit reminded me of like Courtney Love, just like just obnoxious and shit. And one day I'm at a party with her, and I'm like all depressed because I can't get a job through Aerotech. She's like, "Phil, you know what? The only way you get somewhere in America is by lying. You lie your way to the top." So I refilled my entire Aerotech application because I was like, "Oh, the first one they misspelled my name."
Hold on. You just shit on this woman for being a train wreck, and then you took her advice.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. That is the
fuck
level
is
of
that?
that's the level of depressed I was.
You piece of shit. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. No, but so like I refilled it because I realized on the first Aerotech, so there's like an Aerotech of the Chicago suburbs and an Aerotech of just like strictly Chicago.
Sure.
So they misspelled my name. They put Philip with 2 L's. So I just refilled it with 1 L. And then I had a new address. So it was like I had a whole new account. But this time, I don't know if you guys know equal opportunity. They just move your priority.
Affirmative action.
Yeah. Well they move you in the priority list. So
Yeah.
I put down that I was a black disabled veteran on there.
Oppression Olympics.
Got a job the next day.
Really?
Next fucking day.
They didn't. They weren't like.
I love how you show up there not black,
So
walking.
you catfished us a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I've
man,
never
what-
met a black Lysaki.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's definitely a disabled Lysakis. No, but
You're walking. It was a miracle.
But yeah, you know, like to be serious in the beginning, like I don't. There's so much shit that I like in American work culture that is just so fucked. Like I bitch with some of the rednecks at my job. I'm like like in England and Norway, they actually value family, so you get like 2 months off, and it's all. I think it's like a law, but
That makes sense.
and there, yeah, it does. Like
that makes
like,
sense.
That's why, like, they don't have a mental health break because they don't have a mental health fucking crisis. You know, like that you're spending 8 hours with like these nut jobs. That, like, let's just, the first thing I noticed when I went in, I'm in the sheet metal union now. Not gonna go into specifics. Every fucking guy is on antidepressants or depressed or divorced. It's like
The latter.
what? the other thing that I realized, I'm like, so here's I was trying to write a bit about this, but I couldn't get anywhere with it. What I thought was funny, I got fired 3 times because of this, and just recently got my ass saved because I'm in a union.
Yeah.
I have sleep epilepsy, and I haven't had a seizure in like 7 years, but the thing is, if I've only had them in my sleep, but if I do have one in the daytime, that means they take my license away. I can't work anywhere. So it fucks over my whole life. So I have these, so like everywhere I'd go, they'd be like, you willing to do overtime? And like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Chris? If you fill out an application, it says, hey, are you willing to do overtime? You know?
Lie.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped lying. I used to lie. I stopped because I went to a job where they made us do that, and I stopped going to that job.
And you know, yeah, I would lie.
They made it mandatory?
It was mandatory, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's mandatory when you circle yes, because that application is considered a contract, but they don't tell you that shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
right.
you know, this is where I was going with the bit is like, I was like, wait a minute. So I thought making people work overtime, I thought that's illegal. They're like, oh, we're not making you. We're just wondering if you're willing to. And I'm like, well, so you could put anything illegal in that place. Be like, oh, you know, on Fridays, the boys and I, we get a little stressed. Are you willing to give blowjobs? Well, it's kind of illegal, isn't it? We definitely think it's illegal, but are you willing to? Are you willing to, though?
It's your choice.
Yeah,
completely.
once you sign that paper, it's pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
They have you by the balls. And yeah, I've left jobs with it before, but it's like overtime is great for people who want it and need it. It's great. But
yeah.
I would never ever work overtime. I could not justify it. We spend 8 hours in a fucking building where we hate our fucking lives. Not to mention the commute there. It's a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour in commute. So you're spending maybe 10 hours of the day completely miserable.
Yeah.
You're awake for 5 more hours. You got to sleep to start the next day. 5 hours of your day is for you, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And you know what?
Well, it being available versus it being mandatory is a difference.
Right, yeah.
Like if you had a rough week and you're like, okay, you know what, I'll fucking stay an extra few hours.
Yeah, extra few hours to like afford like a vacation or something coming up, or help feed my kids. Something stupid like that. But
something stupid like feeding your kids.
Shitty like feeding my kids I haven't met yet. But you know, beyond that, like I should have more agency over my time.
Yeah.
Because it's the one thing, like I can have all the money in the world, I will never be able to buy back that time.
Yeah. And fucking, like, it's so funny. I worked at a place, another temp job, where it was another welding shop, and they would, it wasn't mandatory, but if you didn't do overtime, they would always clean. You know how like you clean up shop at the end of the day on Fridays, like you sweep and shit.
Yep.
They would do it on Monday, and the person who didn't do overtime is who they would make it do. And I was like,
punish you in their own way.
Yeah.
For not going above and beyond.
But to me, it was funny as fuck because I suck at cleaning. So I'm like, I'm here hourly. You're paying me a high amount of money to weld, but if you're going to make me clean and I suck at cleaning, I'm basically never going to catch up to cleaning because I'm never going to do overtime, and you're always going to have me clean. So. I mean, it came to the point that, like, by Thursday, I was still not... They're like, why aren't you doing this? I'm like, well, maybe you should have someone else clean, you know?
That's what they're fucking doing. What they were trying to do is they're trying to actually punish you for it so that you know, of your own free will decide to do it next time.
You know another thing that I fucking can't believe?
Coerce you into fucking doing it.
I can't believe, like, with the contracts, like, the company that I'm at, there's guys that are there for 10 years, for 20 years. Who gives a fuck? Even if you're there for 2 years and a good worker, what I can't believe is if you're 2 minutes late. If you're 2 minutes late, that goes on your record. So you're gonna fucking fire some guy. Like, I had 4 business owners in my family. So and I was a drug dealer for 10 years. So if I had a fucking person who's like an amazing employee and they're 2 minutes late, 5 times? You're willing to sacrifice this fucking hardworking person because of your power trip of time? Like, it makes zero logic.
Not to mention getting rid of you is a loss for them because they have to now put that money into training a new fucking person and give them their 90 days.
Right, it makes no sense, especially like,
It sounds like cocaine-based ideology from the 80s.
People try to always like fill staff with temps. But you have to train those temps, and temps are only there for like a week or two anyway. So you basically train them up for a full week. You get 1 week full of use of them, fully trained, and then they're gone again. And then also, why wouldn't you treat your employees better? Like, it doesn't make sense to pay someone else to train them up just for them to leave anyway. Just like promote within the company. And I know a lot of companies do that, but some are such assholes about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, when it becomes sticklers about every fucking minute of your life, it's like the same people that are complaining because you're 2 minutes late are the ones that are saying, "Well, you stay till the job's done." Like, no, motherfucker, I'm staying till 4:30. Go suck a dick.
No,
I'm fucking leaving.
No,
the job's not done; it'll get done tomorrow.
Yeah,
they're the same.
Will you
people.
expect me to do this on my own?
Yeah, but
bitch.
also like teams
See
are like severely understaffed because they don't want to like spend. They try to just squeeze as much money as they can out of like the 3 people that run the joint for them.
Yeah,
you know, when they're never on site a lot of the time. It's some faceless. A lot of the time, my boss is some faceless person I don't see. You know, it's just another.
Just like the dude from fucking Deal or No Deal. He's just shadow upstairs.
Right.
Making phone calls. This motherfucker. What is he doing on his phone?
Yeah, he's like the goddamn Wizard of Oz. You know, I've never seen the man behind the curtain. I just get yelled at in emails, and they're not even there on the site. It like drives me fucking nuts. You know, and then they hire management. They try to hire management, and like what they do is they promote people with management experience. But what happens is like these people don't have any experience on the site. So it makes no fucking sense. Like, how dare you bring someone in that's going to be paid more than me and then make me train them? You're out of your goddamn mind. You're out of your goddamn mind. Yeah. I can already do the job that you're paying them way more to do.
You know what I find, like, it's kind of the flow of karma and ironic that, like, a lot of American society will look down on, like, you know, ex-cons. They get out of prison. It's like, your life is fucked because all you wanted to do is, if you put this much effort that you did into trying to rob a bank, into going to school, you'd have a good job. Well, right now, every fucking corporate American company is doing every sneaky possible thing they can, and it's not working, you know?
Right.
Like you know what happened recently that we were bitching about, the welders? There's I don't know if you read that. There was that huge fucking article about Target where they said it was 24 an hour starting. Did you read that shit?
At Target?
At Target.
$24 an hour starting?
As
yeah.
To do what?
As just stalker at 24 an hour. So immediately when that fucking...
I did not see that.
Immediately when that got released, there were motherfuckers on TikTok going and like into Targets and like interviewing each employee. Do you make 24 an hour? Do you make 24 an hour? It's bullshit. What they found out that it was during times like Black Friday or a huge sale, they're like severely understaffed.
Right, they need a seasonal staff.
So they pay you 24 an hour, but you work 4 hours a week, and they don't tell you that.
Oh,
they're fucking ridiculous.
They just fucking fuck you. And as a part timer, they don't have to give you any of the benefits.
Correct.
So that's where they're making their money.
Yeah.
And they'll probably hire somebody 24 hours to crack a whip on these motherfuckers to work their fastest 4 hours they can.
Bring in a bunch of fucking kids out of high school or something. They're like 24 an hour, great, you know. It's
right.
Like,
I mean, it is good. It would be better if it was 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, and not during the worst time of the year for retail workers.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm done. I'm done bitching. American work culture is shit. Does anybody have any hilarious job disaster stories? Anybody want to start?
Hilarious.
Or should I start? Any?
Mine is more tragic. Like, this fucking sucks.
Tragic.
Like, it's more like it's fucking it's fucking formed me into the piece of shit that I am now. But so when
I think you're worse than a piece of shit. Because
what's worse than a piece of shit?
A maggot crawling piece of. Like that cat pile that I was making, you know, that's in that litter box that Chris is getting material on.
So you're just quantity
shit. Pussy shit.
Worse than a piece of shit is just a bunch of shit.
Yeah, a bunch of shit.
Okay.
Assorted shit because there's multiple cats.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So, all right.
Well, it could be like worms level shit where you're shitting blood.
Okay, well, that's pretty fun.
Or prolapsed anus shit because somebody likes their cats too much. Not me.
I don't think the shit's any worse if the person's fucking asshole prolapsed. I think this shit stinks just as bad.
Sorry, I interrupted. You're a piece of shit.
So the temp agencies, and I'm not sure if this still exists, but it was me and remember Eric.
Yeah.
Eric was a cousin of mine who we were roommates back in the day, and Eric, for the life of him, couldn't hold down a job, mostly because he was a very low functioning human being. Like he just didn't realize it. He was like the level of of not functional mentally, where it's like just before you get a government check. Like he didn't qualify for the government check.
Okay.
But he couldn't also keep jobs or do things rationally.
The DMV is looking for guys like that.
Groceries. He couldn't bag groceries. He fucked that up. Roscoe's been doing that shit for how many years?
Mm.
So they would do these things down the street from us. Because most of the time, we just wanted to go there to have enough money to fucking crumble in our pocket for a fucking 30 case of shitty beer or something.
Sure.
So we went to these daily pays. And if you can imagine, it's just a shit little building with maybe 2 windows, brick building, and a bunch of like Mexican dudes and women would gather there to be sent to a different job. But the thing about the daily pay is they would pay you that day. So it was cool to like, oh, fucking, let's go make $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
So these daily pays would do a thing too where if you had a car and you carpooled, you made money doing that. So if you were able to take a bunch of people to different work sites, you could do that too. I had a shit car and I wasn't trying to waste gas. So I was like, well, let's just carpool. So they would pick up, like immigration almost, they would pick up a bunch of us and just take us to different fucking jobs and drop us off. They sent us to this fucking, by like Foster and like
they didn't take you to
area.
the immigration office like Ari Shafir?
No, they did not. I remember that shit. The fucking the Amazing Races.
Yeah.
No, so they would take us to random places, and one time they took us to this place that, if you can imagine, it was a market. It was a plastic company. We just assembled hamster balls. That's what we did.
Okay.
And there was a person who was the best hamster ball installer there, or assembler, and I was paired up with this person.
That'll go on their grave.
Yeah.
Best hamster ball assembler.
But for some reason, they didn't want me back a second day. Like, he's no good. It's like one day of fucking assembling hamster balls, I wasn't good enough to be in that market. I wasn't gonna be the top honcho there.
You'll get it someday.
Someday, I'm hoping. I don't know that they're still fucking even making hamster balls, but we decided.
Did you go home crying like, I can't even make hamster balls?
Yeah, but they fucking the next day. At the time, by the way, these jobs were paying us $5-6 an hour. Just shit money. And then to us at the time, which was incredible, we got a job that's gonna pay you $7 an hour.
Whoa.
I was like, well, what is it? Like, oh, you literally go into a storefront and you're just stocking shelves. I'm like, I can fucking do that. So over on like Foster Pulaski area, there's like a whole strip of like Iraqi restaurants and like Indian businesses and stuff where you can't even read the sign.
Mm-hmm.
They took us to this basically it's a dollar store. It's like a bunch of useless shit. And there was a big fucking big fat Indian dude working in the front. And our job was to go to their shit attic and open boxes of things and use our own discretion to say, well, this will sell. And then we'll take stuff that they had already stored away before and put the shit out there and restock the shelves. But it was a dark, piss-scented attic. They had a severe fucking rat problem. So all the boxes had like, have you ever smelled rat
Whole family is a bunch of rats.
It's fucking stunk up there. But the reason the guy hired us for the job is because his fat ass couldn't get up the little fucking staircase to the top. So we were there.
Body positive, couldn't get up the stairs.
Yeah,
okay.
He could not get his attractive in any shape fucking size up the fucking ladder to get up there. And they had these little rolling fucking those little where you roll boxes and it would roll down these little like rolling pins track.
Rolling.
And they have them in the back of semis where they just push a box and they have a bunch of rolling pins and it would roll down this track.
Yeah, I used to work at UPS. So
yeah, so it's that. It's basically that. They had this fucking thing that went from upstairs down and would just toss shit. And the guy was like a real piece of shit. We took a 30-minute lunch every day. We were there maybe 6-7 hours. We took a lunch.
Sure.
And this guy was the kind of guy who's like, from the moment you leave that door, you're going to go to the McDonald's on the street. It's going to take you 10 minutes. It's going to take you 10 minutes to get your food. By the time you get back, you're not going to have time to eat it. He was that much of a piece of shit on our fucking minutes. So we would literally rush, grab whatever we knew they could fucking give us in a minute, like a cheeseburger, and fucking come back and eat it. And while we were there, like, okay, you got to get back up there by the time. And the whole time we were up there, because this fat ass couldn't come up, we were pissing in boxes. We were like fucking destroying shit. Like literally have a box of stuff and just smashing it. And he just come to the little staircase and be like, what's going on? Like, oh, we got some other stuff I think you'll like. And we just toss boxes of random shit down. He couldn't come up.
Did you take a shit in a box?
We didn't get to take a shit in a box, only because I didn't think there was anything up there to wipe with. I didn't want to walk around with fucking itchy ass.
That's
all
smart.
day.
You had foresight. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But we did piss in a lot of boxes. We opened a box of all these little shitty earrings.
Yeah, dude, you would get an itchy ass with all that rat piss up there. Even if you use the cardboard as like...
There were dead rats
I know
everywhere.
from experience.
There were dead rats everywhere, so we started fucking grabbing all the dead rats and storing them in one of the boxes, tape it up, and just put like fucking Christmas decorations and putting it back up into the fucking boxes. And I guess he had like a nephew or son that came to check on us. He just came up, and we're fucking smoking up there. We're getting high and just fucking making a day out of nothing. And he just came up like, what's going on? I fucking felt like Anne Frank getting discovered in the attic. Oh shit, somebody came up here. The guy's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, oh, nothing. We were fucking trying to find something that works, and we hadn't done jack shit in like 5 fucking hours. And well, we're gonna take a lunch. I don't know what he came down and he said some shit. And when we come down, the guy goes, by this point, this is the 3rd day that we're there. And he goes, I have pizza. So it was him and like his 3 little shit kids and his wife. And they ordered a pizza. And he's like, no, don't worry about lunch. Pizza.
All right, that's
All right,
nice.
fuck it, yes, why not? And I mean, we're sitting there and we're doing the polite thing, which is you offered me pizza, I'm gonna have 1 slice each.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat your fucking family's pizza. We ate it, got back to work, we left, we get back to the daily pay, and each one of us has a $10 charge for pizza.
Oh,
What the fuck was that? He was just said the
my God.
customer.
$10 charge, what?
Yeah, $10. So we paid for the full fucking thing. So we told him, like, dude, this asshole offered us that because he was a stickler about every fucking minute that we took to walk to McDonald's to get something and come back. This guy was an asshole for 3 fucking days. So they're like, yeah, well, he charged you for it, and just next time don't take it. And mind you, what we're making after taxes shit, we're making like $40 fucking dollars a day. $10 is a big deal when you're making $40 a day.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, all right, this motherfucker. So,
Well, you're glad if he was body positive that he didn't have the whole pizza.
So, well, yeah, we did him a favor. We're really
Yeah.
helping him, actually.
Yeah.
We're looking out for his most likely diabetes.
Yeah, he came home and told his wife, like, today I was tempted to eat pizza, but I gave it to my workers. And I charged those fucking assholes. Yeah.
Well, we went back the next day with a vengeance. Like, I don't even care about making money today. I care about destroying this fucking guy's business. So they had the exhaust fan upstairs in the attic. Giant fucking fan that just, pushed out whatever the fucking shit rat piss fucking fumes out of it. And we made a day of grabbing a handful of shit. Just
Rat
started the
piss
fan,
fumes?
out into the alley. And we just started tossing shit at the fan. And it was just out into the alley. And when we fucking leave, we must have taken 3 or 4 boxes of shit and thrown through that fan. So in the alley behind, it was just grinded up pieces of shit that he was fucking selling. That he tried to come after us. Oh, they have to pay me for all this bullshit. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But no, the daily pay never ever gave us work again. Like, well, we gotta fucking, we gotta pay this guy a total of fucking $26 for all this shit. You fucking.
Yeah, well, whatever. Big loss.
Yeah, we were never able to get a job with them again. But that's.
By the way,
that was the introductory to like shit jobs that I would.
By the way,
inevitably lead.
Rat Piss Fumes are playing Rat Fest next year.
Is that a fucking band?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say. Like,
I
wouldn't
hope.
know that one.
It's gonna star that guy. Do you have any other disaster work stories?
I don't know, man. I've worked in a bunch of places. I worked in like bars where people do crazy stuff. I remember I ran a bar for a while. I was a manager of a bar.
Where was it?
I can't say because I'm still friends with those people.
Oh, okay.
But there
What
was
town?
It was in. I can't say because
Okay,
right
okay.
away.
There's only 2 bars in that town.
We'll know right away. But I had to fire one of my employees because she was doing cocaine like on the tables with customers.
Oh,
And I'm like,
It's customer
you
service.
can't do that.
it was Jerks at Joe's.
No, it wasn't just a joke. But I remember I fired her and I was like, she was all mad, but I was like, I didn't tell her like someone snitched on her that she was doing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you can't do that. Like, I'm not being. And she thought I was like such a dick, but I was like, you're doing I just ask for the bare minimum. Like, do the cocaine in the bathroom if you're gonna do it. Don't do it out in the open.
Do it off of my ass, like a pimp, all right?
Whatever. I mean, I'm not like a fucking square. Like, you do whatever the fuck you want. Just like, but we are running a business. So
Yeah.
would you at least do it in the bathroom, like everyone else is doing? Just do
What are
it
you,
in the
a
bathroom.
fucking square?
Yeah. So I had to get rid of her, and she was just like, she was in crazy. She would drop like entire bottles of booze and not tell anyone.
Oh,
and
man.
I would be like, "Why are we out of Malort?" And she would like, I dropped it like 2
You
hours
should
ago.
never be out of Malort.
I'm like, what the fuck?
One bottle
That-
of Malort will
you know
stay
that-
on that shelf
you know-
for fucking 10 years.
You know, though, that would be the place to do cocaine, though, because if somebody, like, you know, if Ross started doing lines off the scanner at Jewel,
Yeah.
I'd be like, now this is actually really weird. I expect this at a bar, you know?
It is weird.
But, anyway, so...
Don't blame him, he's impaired. I'm always
Yeah.
impaired.
Well, the coke helps me. No, but I'm just gonna start going off this list because I have endless amounts of fucking stories that I want to see what you guys think of this.
Yeah.
Like so I guess I should just continue off with the Jewel, and oh my god.
I gotta remind you something I don't know if you forgot about Jewel. Because you were telling me how I met this guy and how I started hanging out with him. And I started hanging out with him because of the crazy shit he would do.
Yeah.
And like, it just fucking cracked me up. This asshole was telling me the ins and outs and the rules of Jewel. Like, technically, if it's on the wrong fucking shelf, they still have to honor that price. So he would exploit that shit too. He came home. I guess they fucking put these little Dr. Scholl's fucking shoe inserts. He came with those shoe inserts. They're like probably like $15 or some shit. They put them in $1 fucking rack. So he bought all of them, and he's like trying to hustle fucking the Dr. Scholl's inserts. He had a whole bag in his truck. Like, you need them? Because I fucking got them for $1. He literally went there and he took all of them and paid $1 for
Dude,
them.
I'm not. He's not kidding. Every single pair of my shoes has those soles in them.
Are they good?
You still have them?
Dude, they're so fucking good. I'm not even joking. Like a week ago, I had to buy new boots at my welding shop because, dude, my fucking boots they looked like they're from a horror movie. They looked like fucking the Crow when he gets his old shoes from the grave, like. Because the weld fucking burns, they just burn through them. I mean, it looks like a train ran over them, and I don't have any soles in them, and my back is killing me. I'm like,
Yeah, so-
I'm gonna get some of those.
They're
My back kills me. All I wear is Docs all day.
dude, I'm telling you, they're a game changer. You will like,
Oh yeah, but that's how I know I'm fucking old now.
Yeah.
Thinking about shit like
Getting
that.
arch support and shit like that.
God damn it.
Have you seen the thing at Walmart you stand on? And it
Anyways,
shows
let's give
you
a-
the pressure
let's-
point,
let's give a
where
thank
all
to
your
our
weight is
sponsor.
distributed. Like $50 for one fucking, but apparently they're good.
let's give a thank to our sponsor, Dr. Scholl's. Right?
This has been brought to
I
you
am
by
gonna
Dr.
get some
Scholl's.
after this.
How do you like that vanilla liqueur? It's pretty fucking strong, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It actually tastes like vanilla extract
Yeah.
with like a hint of piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things you don't want to drink directly. You want to dilute both of those.
So that's why you told us that piss story. You got in flashback. So anyway, another loophole not a loophole at Jewel. I got fired at Jewel the first time. Got fired there.
I've never been fired from a job. It just like blows my mind that people get fired from jobs.
It was the second time I got fired. I'll get to the second time because that's even better. But the first time I got fired was at Jewel, and I got fired because. So, do you remember Fresh Values cards?
Yeah,
So now they don't have that anymore. They just like
They just give you the discount right
I think
off
it's
the
like
bat.
they save your number in the system.
yeah they save your number and then like it already says what's on sale. But they used to have to have a card, and the card would take off whatever is eligible for that card. Well, my fucking employee of the month ass at Jewel, they're like, you know, whoever gets the fastest scanning gets like a Panera fucking free lunch at the end of the week. So I'm trying to scan full speed, and just being honest, we've got people with special needs bagging. So I'm like, come on, hurry the fuck up, you know? And so, but I did find a loophole. You just keep hitting total and then going back. So it looks like you're scanning like 1,000 things a minute. But then I got even more fed up because there'd be these old ladies who can't get their card out in time. So what I started doing is I started scanning my employee discount. I thought it was the same thing. I started scanning like I get like
So you're giving employee discounts the whole time?
to everybody.
You're going to heaven on accident,
Dude. And they literally took me in the office, and they're just
families you fed, Phil.
Dude, yeah, I know, right? Dude, they took me in the office and they did all the math, and I gave away like 25 grand in employee discounts.
Oh my god!
So they fired my ass, and that was a union job. It's like when you go to 25 grand, nah, we cannot defend your ass for this.
Wow.
You fucking walked out of there while people with Down syndrome are looking at you like, he's a fucking idiot.
Dude, you know, but so then when I got my next Jewel job, just didn't mention that I got fired from another Jewel. You remember those Monopoly games, like the McDonald's Monopoly shit?
Yeah, they did it for a little while.
I think they do it every once in a while still.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still do it?
Yeah, I think
I didn't know that.
So what they at Jewel, if a person, like, if you went in line, if Carlos went in line, he's like, oh, I'm not playing that shit. You would just leave it there, and then if Chris went in line, he's like, oh yeah, I like it. He would take yours. So you just keep leaving it for the next person. I would just pocket that shit.
Just stack them all up. Yeah.
I would stack them all up, and dude, I won like $500 gift cards like 5 times.
Oh, that shit actually works?
Yeah. I won
I
it.
always thought it was bullshit. I always thought that for every single
just,
one they had one in the entire fucking world.
Yeah,
And went to, like,
I would just throw that shit in the garbage.
Yeah, dude. No, 5 times, but it took a lot of me sitting in my free time licking these fucking stamp cards on a Monopoly fucking map that they give you. It was so fucking
it's like the McDonald's thing they do.
Yeah.
They give you the fucking paper and you collect all the little stickers.
Yeah,
obviously they
the
haven't done that
fries
in a long
and shit
time.
and the drinks. Yeah, they haven't done that in a while.
And you might win up to a fucking large fry
You know the other time I almost got at the second Jewel where I quit that one, but the reason why I almost got fired. So they just put me on second shift, which is like 4 p.m. to like 1 a.m. and you just come in jaded as fuck. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to work. It's a case of the Mondays every fucking shift, every time, you know? So I'm working there.
your whole fucking day.
Yeah. And here's the thing that's great is when you work with a lot of people with special needs, you get used to them, so you treat them like a person, not like, hey, do you need me to hold your dick when you take a piss? Like, so...
Who are you treating like that?
Or maybe I was doing it
That'll
wrong.
get you employed.
Yeah.
That'll get you employed the month.
So I was working. There was this girl, Emily, who she was just really slow. She wasn't like Down syndrome or anything, but she was just really slow. And we're working one day, and ironically, it was like around Halloween, like now. And she's like, Phil, so what are you gonna dress up for Halloween? I was like, I don't know. Are you going trick or treating? Like, I'm just like still jaded, trying to be nice, you know. She's like, I don't know, but I hear if you dress up as the trending popular costume, you get more candy. And I was just so jaded. I'm like, I didn't see a customer coming in line behind me, and I just go, well, I hear if you put a paper bag over your head and over both arms, they'll give you all the liquor and cash that you want at a liquor store. And the customer's like, your cashier is trying to teach a person who's mentally challenged how to rob a liquor store. So...
Yeah, it's him. That one right there.
Anyways, so I think that's all the Jewel shit I got. I don't know. Moving on. Let me think. I used to work at a PetSmart.
Dude, what was the name of that dude at Jewel, at the one in Park Ridge that was fucking uncomfortable and awkward? He was come up and be like smiling like, hi.
Oh, Joe? Yeah, Joe
Oh
Spin.
my god, dude, that just came to my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I gotta pee. Just keep going.
Yeah, we
You
could
can piss
just...
in the litter box if you want.
It's full.
Yeah, I could keep going. So no, Joe, he was autistic, and he,
It was weird.
he was always happy, and all year round, he would, all year round, he would be excited about his birthday party, because he had like a rich-ass family.
He drew us a little picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would draw custom-made Looney Tunes that were... They looked like a second grader drew them to invite you to his party, and oh my god, it's such a sad story because people would just show up, and they would get like expensive fucking Lou Malnati's Giordano's. People would just whip that shit against the walls and shit. Like, it was fucking ridiculous. But you know what was crazy is that one time I was going for a jog, and I saw him, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come over to my house?" I'm like, oh, this is going to make for a good story.
Yeah,
So I came.
Why wouldn't it?
So I came with, and dude, you know what I found out was that, I guess this is how corrupt shit is. So I found out two things. The reason why Jewel and Goodwill have so many mentally challenged people is because they're already getting a disability check. So they can legally, like even now, whatever minimum wage I think is like $13 an hour,
Yeah.
they can pay them like $3 an hour because they're already collecting a disability check.
Right, so they can get away with underpaying them like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so what they did with him was they gave him a free scholarship to Columbia to learn animation.
Oh, yay. Okay.
So I could just imagine him walking up to like all these art school like blue-haired feminist chicks like, "Hi, do you want me to draw you a cartoon?" Get away!
No means no.
Yeah, so anyways, where do I move on to? Let's see. PetSmart.
I didn't know you worked at that smart.
Yeah. I was a stock manager at a PetSmart for a small period of time. I fucking so this was so ridiculous. So they like I that was literally the only time I ever used my college degree. I was like, I should be a manager. So they like, all right, stock manager, we're not giving you a fucking raise. And so I worked with this guy George. He was this fucking really jaded hick, like the kind of guy you'd expect to shoot up the store. He had a horseshoe haircut. He twitched randomly. He had a
haircut, like he cut his hair to look like that.
No.
Okay. Yeah,
But-
okay. Yeah, he was horseshoe bald.
Mm,
Gotcha.
he was
Like
horseshoe
Costanza.
bald. He was horseshoe bald. He was lazy eyed. He had a twitch. He had every single description of I'm gonna shoot up this store, and he was really
First place to the ground, that swing line stapler guy.
yeah. I'm gonna save all the animals first though, because I'm the psychotic Ace Ventura, you know. But he was so mad that he was there for like 10 fucking years. I mean, you could tell this guy was like he was 50, so you could tell like somewhere along the line he must have like huffed paint, so he ended up with this fucking job, you know.
Yeah.
And he was so mad that I got promoted. So he's like, man, I can't fucking believe like so what are you gonna tell me what to do with as stock manager? I'm like, yeah, I am. Start unloading that load, you know. And dude, right when I told him that, this is the funniest shit. The PetSmart that I was at, it was in Niles, and it was next door to a really shady Chinese restaurant that just got shut down because I guess this is so ridiculous. They were trying to cut corners by filling.
Oh wait, by the park, by like the brickyard.
No,
Okay,
it's
no.
Niles, the golf mill.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So they were trying to cut corners by not emptying their grease trap as recommended. So they basically waited until they had a pool of grease, but like Jeffrey Dahmer's bathtub, you know,
Yeah.
and it smelled like it as well. So they got kicked out, but they didn't fucking, you know, because they got kicked out, they're not going to clean up their shit, so that was still there. So there's this fucking rat's nest, and they started, and it's like right next to PetSmart.
Yeah.
So dude, this guy's like, oh, so you're going to be stock man, you're going to tell me what to do? I'm like, yeah, start unloading that fucking IAMS thing. He lifts this IAMS bag, and fucking rats start nipping at his ankles while I'm sitting on a forklift laughing my fucking ass off. But yeah,
Wait, so the PetSmart was near a Chinese?
it was next door
like
to it.
next door.
Yeah,
You know what's weird is that's not the first time I've seen a Chinese food place next to a pet shop, and it's like, wouldn't you want to distance yourself from that?
Yeah.
Just from that place and stereotypes
yeah,
in
just get
general.
away from all the ideas
Yeah.
people are gonna have.
are you throwing out any of the ones that didn't get adopted?
I will say it has never stopped me from eating at one. I
Yeah.
will always,
Yeah.
like, if there's a China buffet anywhere, I will eat there.
I'm never eating at a new China buffet, Carlos.
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? I thought this was decent.
Oh my god.
I like China
The
buffet.
guy had the shits or something, I
Of
think.
course,
I
you're gonna
was-
get the shit. It's cheap. Who cares?
Dude, I felt like I had a parasite in my stomach.
You
Like,
did. You 100% did. But it's like $7.99.
You know what? Listen, my complaint is I don't care if it's rats in there. I don't care if it's rat fetuses. You got to season it the right way. All right, you got to cook them the right way. If I'm going home and I'm fucking like pissing out both ends, that's what it like. And you know the funny thing is my brother was like, no, I liked it too, and I'm like, yeah, but you eat like shit all the time, like.
So they just opened a fucking Chinese buffet in North Lake, close to where I used to live.
Yeah.
It's literally called Nuevo China
Nuevo
buffet.
Hell yeah!
It's
I
in
mean,
Spanish.
yeah. Let's stop fucking pussyfooting around. The people who are making the Chinese
There's
food
Mexicans
are Hispanic
back there.
people.
I fucking
in,
know
in
it.
every Chinese food kitchen, there's always Hispanic people. They make it the best. It's real fucking good. So yeah, I would eat fucking there.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
But I
they
just-
didn't want to go with the new China buffet, so like, oh, nuevo, especially because the area is predominantly Hispanic.
Yeah, then let's stop joking around and just eat good food. I don't give a shit.
I was happy with what I had, but I did not feel good after eating. And then
Diarrhea is just weakness leaving the body.
okay.
That's what they say in the Marines. I think.
What I will say
Something
is
like that.
I went it's the whiteness in me. I looked up the reviews. Like, I'm gonna make a complaint. I want to see the lowest rate. And this lady had a picture of a rat hiding behind the table leg as she's eating. And then the next
What?
thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
Did
that
she
one.
do it on purpose?
What do you mean on purpose?
She brought the rat in.
No,
for
I mean like
discount.
when the picture was taken of her with the rat in the background. Did she know the rat was there?
Oh yeah, she was complaining about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it would
yeah.
be funny if she took a selfie and then in the background you see a bunch of rats on the floor and didn't notice it.
I thought you meant she brought it in purpose, like she's that fucking movie Willard, where he's just
Oh, the fucking goofy dude with the weird comb over.
yeah, where he's got rats for pets. And he's
Will, isn't that the fucking dad from Back to the Future? Isn't that who that is?
I don't remember. It's
Oh.
a movie that nobody's.
Yeah, I think
Hey man, you get your
Christopher
damn
something.
hands off. Or
Oh, was it the? Yeah, dude, I know what you're talking about. Fuck, it's the guy who has all those viral videos on David Letterman.
I think he's weird now. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think
What's
he
weird
just.
then?
I think he
Crispin
lost his
Glover.
mind. Yeah, that's it.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
I can't remember him.
Wait, no, is Crispin Glover. Who's the old guy? Who's Doc? Who's Doc Brown?
That's Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher
Okay,
Lloyd,
they're
yeah.
all named Chris. Okay, that's confusing.
But okay, movie. Let's talk about Joe. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Flood Job Joe.
Flood Job Joe.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
yeah.
so Flood Job. Okay, this deserves its own fucking podcast because this guy. Okay, so my dad used to work for Joe's dad at my dad was a jeweler, and this guy's dad owned it's called well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned names, but he owned a shop that made basically like church decorations. So my whole family's in metalwork. But so when I got out of college, I couldn't find a fucking job anywhere. So my mom helped me out, and she tried calling all these people. And this guy Joe, this is how bad this fucking guy is at owning a business. On my resume, I have 5 different businesses for like a decade, and the boss is Joe on all of them. Because every fucking year he'd open up a business and it would fail, and so like I would apply for jobs. They'd be like, "Why are we calling the same Joe with the same number? Is this real?" I'm like, yeah, he's a horrible business owner.
But that's all I got for references.
Yeah, which was awesome for a while because, well, here's the thing. So his story is he's like a spoiled. His image puts off like an intimidating dude. He was this fucking like 6'5" biker dude. He's bald. He looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's a fucking spoiled little bitch from Park Ridge. He like, so like first I worked with him welding, and that job was the coolest job I had with him because that's where I first started welding, and it was all art welding. So it was like we did custom railings. So if you wanted like, I don't know if the singer from you press the
Oh.
you could
Oh, it does move.
yeah, just watch out so it doesn't rip the back. You can keep going, but
No, I got scared.
so anyways, it's also got this is nice the
Something just went in my butthole. What is? Stop pressing that.
and
Ooh.
so first he had this welding fucking place, and he fucked around way too much. Like he's like, hey, you know what? We should put a car spring and make it a mega pogo stick. So
I mean, I kind of like that idea.
it's a cool idea, but eventually he fucking doing that, and dude, he like, I fucked around with him so much. Like we were next door to
Experimented.
I was bi-curious at the time.
Oh, okay.
So, but we were next door to a fucking shop that repaired food factory, like hoppers and shit, and it was owned by all off the boat Russians, and they didn't like him because he would like fuck with them all the time. And I just remember I was laughing my ass off because one day he had like literally one of those toilet paper roll smoke bombs, the ones that go off for like 15 minutes, basically like a riot gas canister.
It's like a 10 solid fucking minute fucking smoke bomb.
And he threw it into their factory, and they're running out of there like fucking Putin is coming to town. But anyways, so that was the first job I had with him. Then here's what happens with like this is just so great with him. So then he's like, well, my welding business didn't work. So on the other side, like not the Russians, say the Russians were on the west side of his building, on the east side of his building was a flood company, which I found out later was, dude, this fucking company was owned by Scientologists. And if you wanted to move up into the office, you had to make a donation to the Church of Scientology. And
that's how it works.
It was so fucking weird, and I mean, it was a horrible job. You're vacuuming up people's shit, and I even got a fucking like toe infection from standing in that crap. And what happened with him, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this. He got so mad because they didn't pay him the percentage he was supposed to, and they're like, well, make a donation to the Church of Scientology. So he just took 30 grand of blowers and dehumidifiers and stored them in his neighbor's house so he wouldn't get like raided by SWAT. So, and then after he had his fading out with the flood, now Joe has a restoration business. He's a restoration business.
What is he restoring?
He's restoring houses. He's basically trying to flip houses. And this was the most. This is how this guy's logic worked. He didn't want to pay for a dumpster, so he would just anything that we threw out. He's like, dude, just set it on fire in the backyard. I'm like, everything.
You cannot do that.
Well, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what do I do if the cops come? He's like, well, you're a fucking Polak. You can do an accent. Just be like, this is how we have fires in the old country. And yeah, there was at one point where I like ripped an entire cabinet set of a kitchen, all the cabinets throughout the house, all the flooring, and I have a fucking pile the size of a short bus and just this fire blazing like it's a fucking KKK rally. And it scared the shit out of the neighbor. But I'm like, dude, how much money did you save by me doing this? You know,
probably a ton. Well, actually, not even that much, because I think a dumpster for a day costs like $100.
Yeah, like you could have literally gotten a dumpster the last day, had me load this stuff, but instead we have a fire, and now we have to fucking load in ash. You know, because nobody wants to.
Well, so the when I was doing like the fucking chase and shit, a lot of times I would take a bunch of garbage with me in my van.
Yeah.
And I would have to dump it in the garbage, the dumpsters that we had at night. Those things were regularly full, so sometimes you're carrying that shit with you. And there was places that would charge you a fee weekly where you can go there and dump shit every day. And I found doing that enough time that shit started adding up. Like it ended up being like $150 a week to go there and dump shit. And what my fucking solution was, I drove to the ghettos of Chicago and I just threw the shit out into those empty fucking fields.
Oh my god.
Because I would see couches and all kinds of shit. I just did that so often that the same fucking people that I would just dump it on the ground, and the crackheads that were going around, they would have shopping carts of the metal and they would salvage it and make money. So I was actually helping that community more than anybody
you're
else.
helping the community, man.
Yeah, some people pick up like blinds.
Yes,
Those
we're
my
all
house.
going to heaven now.
Yeah, I just dump all that shit in an empty
What
field
the
and
fuck?
fucking left. And I did it enough times where I think people started noticing. They see my van
Dude,
go around, they walk to the field, see what they can find.
It's so funny. It reminds me of my I had like a how I forgot if it's Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society. You know when he's in the car with his son and he's like, "Do you notice anything here about this neighborhood?" They respect their neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
that might be Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
It sounds like a serious talk as opposed to
no. He was. There's a scene where he's driving around with his kid to try and like stray him away from the gang life, and he's like, you see, these black people, they respect their neighborhood, they respect their community. I had like a white version of that with Gavin, because I'm not even joking. Like, so if you go a mile this way,
Yeah.
there's these apartments where they're barbecuing on their lawns. There's cars on cinder blocks, and I'm just like, Gavin, do you realize all the trash here? This is why you don't hang out over here, because there's fucking trash everywhere. And I remember, like, when I renovated my bathroom, I just went to their dumpster and I just dumped it over there. Yeah. But
That's really good. You know, that's a heartwarming moment you had with your son.
It is.
And what people like more than that is white versions of black things.
right?
Everyone always likes
Everyone
that.
loves it.
Yeah.
Give him a life lesson. Right there.
But what the fuck? I forgot what I was gonna say with there was something with Joe. Oh, dude. So here's another thing with.
I was with you guys at one of those flood jobs.
Yeah,
And
dude.
I can tell this dude was doing everything he can to not just be like, fucking Peter. I'll tell you about that.
He's dude, this guy. So here's the funniest part about Joe. Like I told you, he's like the stone cold Steve Austin. He's one of those fucking. He owned a bike, and he would purposely not get turning signals on it just so he can do the "I'm a real biker. I do hand signals," and fucking and so what he did. So this is the funniest part about him was, like I said, he looked like somebody you don't fuck with, but he was such a pussy. When he'd get angry, he'd get high pitched. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Like, I remember we were taking apart a porch, and he jumped off from like the sliding door down, landed on a nail, and he's just like, "Phil, I'm gonna go home now." Like he just get high pitched. But the funniest moment when he got high pitched like that was, here's what happened. So when we did that flood work, sometimes, like, basically what you do, you vacuum up the shit, you leave these fucking fans in a vortex, the dehumidifier takes everything out, and you got to leave it there for like a week so that there's no mold. So sometimes he's like, and he had like a flat rate that he paid me, which was $15 an hour, which was amazing at that time, like 10 years ago. So one day he's like, "All right, Phil, listen, I'm just going to break it to you. I'm not happy paying you $15 an hour just to pick up fans, but that's what you're going to do. I'm going to give you the van. You got till the end of the day to do it. If I were you, I'd get going in the morning. But whenever you wake up, I fucking woke up at like noon. I'm hungover. I smoked too much weed, and the last thing he said, he goes, "Phil, by the way, do not drive over 40 miles an hour with this car." And as a Polak, I'm like, well, I know why he's saying that, because he doesn't want me to fucking drive like
a maniac.
A Polak in a BMW, and get a speeding ticket. That's what I thought. What he was telling me.
I'm sure it was something fucked up with the car.
I did not know that. So, yeah, his transmission was blown, so it wouldn't go past like the second gear.
So just red line every fucking time.
So I'm blasting fucking. I brought like that little tape converter thing into your iPod. I'm blasting fucking metal, just going like 70 on the highway, not realizing that it's at like 10,000 RPMs.
Yeah.
And by the time I pulled up to his house to drop off the fans, the whole time I'm driving full speed, and then when I stopped the car, there's just a cloud of smoke coming out.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, "Phil, didn't I tell you to not go over 40? Oh my god!
Sitting in there fucking smoking
Have
the
you
car.
never had like a beater car before where you like?
Oh, I had plenty of, yeah.
You know, because like my car right now, I cannot take over 70 miles an hour because it will explode 100%.
Oh my god! I had a Honda that if you go over 60, it would just start like vibrating.
Yeah, that's what mine does.
Yeah. It's. Oh my god! But
it looks like I'm drunk. I'm sure cops like look at me and like, this guy swerving. Is like, no, it's like my fucking car.
I just remember
front end swinging around.
Yeah.
But the funniest ending to that story was that he was so mad that he like purposely delayed. He would usually pay me day of. He didn't pay me for like 2 weeks, and I was calling him and shit. And this fucking drama queen is trying to like, I'm gonna make a message for him setting my van on fire, So I just showed up at his house to be like, "Yo, where the fuck is my check? You're not answering my phone. What do you expect me to do?" He didn't answer his phone. I could tell that he was home because he had both doors open. He'd let his dogs out. And then I'm like, where the fuck is it? Is he hiding somewhere? Is he that much of a little bitch that looks like a biker? Dude, I go to my car and I'm like, I'll wait here for 20 minutes and I'll leave. And I look to my right. He's taking a shit naked with a camera because he thought I was gonna like rob his ass. I'm like, can you imagine like just Stone Cold Steve Austin naked on a fucking...
It sounds like he was... How are you simultaneously super prepared to see this person rob you, but like not prepared enough to put on clothes and still take a shit? You're the most and least prepared for everything. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing the only things he had going good in his life is pretending to be a biker and then having a really long and relaxing shit.
Does this guy... Do you still talk to this guy? Who's this person?
No, you know what? That's a whole nother story. No, I fucked it up. This is how I fucked it up. When lockdown happened, like, what, 2019, I think? Yeah. So I called him. I would call him randomly for odd jobs because he'd help me, like... He's such a fucking... Like... One odd job was he wanted me to build him a 12-foot half pipe in his yard because he's having a midlife crisis and he used to BMX. So he builds it. We build the whole fucking thing. A year later, his wife's bitching about it. So now we got to take it down and set it on fire. It was so fucking ridiculous. So anyway, so this is how he does not want to hear from me because what happened is he called me over to do. He's like, yeah, you know, like what happened is he lives in Killdeer. For people who don't know this. There's like fucking mansions out there, like 3-floor houses. And he bought one out there because he's a fucking yuppie from Park Ridge, but he couldn't afford a mansion. So he literally has a house the size of this fucking basement, but then his yard is like a football field for his dogs. So he's like, yeah, I need some help with yard work. And while I'm helping with yard work, he's bitching to me about how much he can't keep he started like a dad band. You know, like somebody that play at Penny Road Pub.
Yeah.
Fucking old boomers and like...
That's going to be us, man. Don't sit on it right now. That's 100% going to be us.
Khakis. So, yeah, but instead of khakis and Hawaiian shirts and Beach Boys and Beatles, we're going to be wearing what? Like flannel and covering grunge bands, right? Yeah. Which is
our future.
Yeah. So he's bitching about his band and I'm like, so what? Like, what's the problem? And I knew what the problem was. He's a difficult fucking asshole. So he's like, yeah, I can't get a bass. I'm like, well, I can play bass. It's fucking lockdown. I have nothing to do. I joined his band for 3 months.
That's a long time.
It is very long because what I didn't know, like if you were about to join a band, right? Mm-hmm. Why are you joining it? Why would you join a band?
For fun?
For fun, exactly. Number one priority. I mean, it's almost fucking common sense.
Right, yeah.
This guy, I joined his band 2 weeks in. He's like, all right, Phil, so we're going to you have to learn all these songs because we're going to play a gig in like a month. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So what is it, like 8 songs? You know, like I've been in bands for 15 years. I'm like, what is it, like a 45-minute set? He's like, no, we're playing for these old boomers. So it's like a 3-hour set.
Who's playing for 3 hours when you're not famous?
Who's listening for 3 hours?
Well, yeah, because he's like, you know, the
covers.
The main event in bumfuck Illinois, you know, where like the cities with a population of 500 people, and I guess you get paid really well for it, but it was all like, he's telling me like they play classic rock. So like, what do you guys think when you think classic rock? What do you think?
Journey.
Thin Lizzy's, maybe.
Okay. I thought it was like, maybe it's because I'm a metalhead, I'm thinking like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, I don't even, like maybe Beatles, right? Everything on his list I loathed. It was like John Mellencamp, Bob Seger, fucking was... Baby, no, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, yeah.
Like... And I like first I got
Lenny Kravitz and shit.
I wish we played Lenny Kravitz because this shit was fucking. It was and like, what was it? He's
playing a show for a lot of people on their second and third marriages.
Yeah, like with those old white broads with a martini in their hand and like a moo falling over, rolling their ankles because all they wear is New Balances and they're in their best heels, like
Jimmy Buffett.
yeah, Jimmy, but like, so I'm like, dude, I don't know any of these fucking songs, and you want me to learn them in like a month? How about, because I'm 1/3 of the band, how about we learn 1/3 songs that I know? And I was like trying to get him to learn like Stone Temple Pilots or something. And here's the thing, he sucks in singing, and it was like cringy to me because like. So one day we were learning to play the Who song. I forgot what Who song it was. It was what the fuck? What song was it? What are some famous Who songs?
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
No, that's you too.
Something?
Oh, that's you too.
Pinball Wizard. What the fuck was it? Down, dun, 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 dun.
That's the only one I know.
Yeah.
I don't think I listen to the Who very much.
Yeah, me either.
But I used to always confuse them with you two.
Or the Rolling
Because
Stones.
I didn't like any of them.
Yeah. Stadium Rock's not my thing.
Yeah. I forgot what fucking song it was. It was like, what the fuck? I can't think of it, but
Does it matter?
it does matter because I was trying to reference how he fucking sang it. Because it was like, yeah. Do you want to look it up?
I'm looking it up because that's not one of the
Fucking-
bands I really listen to a lot.
What are like some hits? Let's see.
So,
The Who songs.
Pinball Wizard.
Won't Get Fooled Again.
Won't
That's
Get
what we
Fooled,
were
yeah.
playing. So we're playing Won't Get Fooled. But you know, The Who, a lot of people say like they kind of like inspired punk rock to start. Because they're like, you won't get fooled again! You know, you scream it. This guy sang like somebody who doesn't know how to sing. So he'd be like, down, down, you won't get fooled again. And that coming, once again, from a guy that looks like Stone Cold, was so ridiculous.
Oh, he was the lead singer too?
Yeah, he can only be. I was asking him like, dude, do you want me to maybe like sing on some songs? He's like, well, you can do backup vocals. We'll do it next practice. And when we come next practice, and he didn't even plug in my mic. That's how fucking mad he was. and then like we stopped, and I'm like, first of all, Joe, why isn't my mic plugged in? And then he's like, oh, I'll plug it in now. I'll plug it in. And then he put it at like mine was like at level 1, and he's like at level 9. And I'm like, dude, I just want to tell you, like, who told you that like you're a good singer? He's like, I do sing good, okay? I do. Like my wife told me that. Like, duh, dude, not your fucking wife. So, anyways, what ended up happening is I was like, well, dude, fuck you guys. I am not learning. He wanted to. You know what else he wanted to cover is the Turn the Page, but the original one with the saxophone. You know, Metallica covered it. On the Here I Am on the Road Again.
Oh, yeah, I know that song.
Yeah. I think it was Neil Young. It might have been.
I thought that was Metallica's song, right?
I thought it was Metallica, but I guess it's like, anyways. So that's how that ended. How many more jobs?
Well, you heard
Do we got some more time?
We got some more time.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to. Let me see what I can move on. Fucking what is a ridiculous fucking okay. I worked at a fucking library, if you can believe that.
Yeah, you're too loud to be at a
Yeah, I'm way too. I'm way
monster
too.
truck rally.
Way too loud. Way too fucking vulgar, bro. When you work at a library, if you don't fit in, they will fucking get you fired because the old ladies hated me there. And actually, my first bassist, Reese, got me the job there, and I ended up, dude. This is so crazy. That's the second job I got fired at. And this is pretty interesting how I got fired there.
How do you get fired so many times?
Twice. It was twice. But this place, so here's what happened. I started working there, and I was like, dude, I got bored real quick. Because I came from a fucking factory, like, hardworking Polak background.
Constantly moving.
Yeah, so I was just like, dude, like they'd be like, what's your job today? They'd be like, oh, you got to check in all the books that are in the drop-in. Dude, I'd get it done in an hour. Put on, like, drink 3 cups of coffee, put on Prodigy, smack my bitch up, you know. So, and then I didn't have anything to do, so I would just tell these fucking crazy stories with old ladies. They're just like, we don't like your toilet humor, Philip, and
Yeah, your potty mouth.
yeah. And somebody wrote a note. First time I got written up, they wrote some note about like that I don't have good hygiene, which was like, I was like. And it was literally because of like.
Did you work at a place with a complaint box?
And dude, I wore like shirt and tie. They just like didn't like how I had my hair and shit. Like, I don't know. But anyways, so here's what's fucking crazy. There's 2 things that happened crazy at this job that I have to share. First thing that happened was there was a guy that worked there at the same time that I worked there. I was like 2 years after I took welding classes at Triton, and there was this Marine there with severe PTSD. He was and he did have it severe. I felt he was like when he talked to you. This is how anxious he'd be. He'd be like, "Hey, Chris, how's it going? How are you? Why aren't you answering? Wait, you're just sitting there? Do you not like me? Are you judging me?"
Yeah.
Like, that's how he would talk all the time. "Why aren't you moving? Why are you still not saying anything? I'm waiting. How much longer should I wait? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you the one that's..." Like,
That sucks.
all the time. And he would come into the library to just, like, talk with people because he had anxiety. And I remembered him all the time because he had a backwards Cubs hat. And I remember the bitch who wrote this whole Philip has toilet humor and he's bad hygiene and shit. We had a meeting with her, and they're having this fucking meeting, whatever. And they ended up like at the end of the meeting, they're just like, "So do you know about this Ryan guy? Is he like gonna shoot up the place or something?" And I got kind of pissed off. Like I'm not like offended, but I'm just like, dude, you just like wrote me up because you think I have bad hygiene. But you're like making fun of a fucking PTSD veteran and like saying he's gonna shoot up the place in this meeting. Like that's fucking weird. You know, like that's bullshit. So then the next time so they got so anxious that it just went silent. The next time he came in, nobody wanted to talk to him because they thought that like I might tell him.
Poor guy.
Yeah, and so he got even more anxious. And then he asked me one day, and I told him what happened. So they fired me for releasing confidential information.
You work at a goddamn library. Is something confidential about that?
Yeah, fucking But here's, okay. Now this next thing I'm going to tell you is fucking epic. Because at this same fucking library, there was a guy, I'm not going to use any names because this is fucking, there was a lawsuit about this. There was a security team, and there was this one guy that worked there who, every experience that I had with him, he was...
Is this the only story you're going to tell with the statute of limitations on it?
Yeah. But he fucking, like, he was like, this he was nice. I just thought he was a little bit awkward because he was definitely juicing steroids. He was part of the security, and he bleached his hair blonde and spiked it up because he loved Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
That's
So
like fucking Guy Fieri.
yeah, yeah. No, he was actually jacked. But so here's what happened. While I'm working there was this girl there who was, she was really socially awkward because she was like Jehovah's Witness, and she had like all those. Do you remember in the 90s, like?
Is there anyone that you run into that isn't socially awkward? I feel like everyone you talk to in your life, it to the point where it's almost your fault.
It is
seeking these people out.
I do make people uncomfortable.
Do you think that I'm socially awkward?
I don't.
Because I'm fine.
Well, speaking of the roast, I mean, like, but she was just like, I don't know, you know, like when you're Jehovah's Witness, like there's all these things that you can't do. You can't celebrate birthdays, parties, whatever. So what happened is,
have fun.
Yeah, you can't have. You got to be in the Jackson 5, and you know, better practice your steps every fucking night. But anyways, she was like real. You know, like she couldn't send. What happened is this fucking Goku of the library asked her to get food on lunch break. He's thinking that he's taking her on a date. She's like, "Oh, I'm just getting food with a coworker. You know, this is nothing." And he's like, all trying, you know, in his meathead ways, you know, like pulling out her chair and everything, trying to be a gentleman. So he's like in love, thinking this is like something bigger than it is. So she turned him down. She's like, "No, I can't date anybody outside the Jehovah's Witness faith, dude." So you know how fucking disturbing this is. This guy, apparently, when you're in security, they mic every room besides the bathrooms.
Uh-oh.
And
they only put cameras in there.
And he like he went to school for writing, so he would have like he had a blog, and he would sort of like kind of like do white versions of manga novels type shit.
Okay.
And
cool.
So what he did though was, here's where it gets creepy. He would like transcript everything that was said off of the mics in the library whenever she was around, and turn it into a story based on her. but it was written like in Shakespearean like language, not language, but like words and terminology.
That's mildly terrifying.
Yeah. So it would be like if I had a crush on one of you guys, I would like if I don't. That's for next episode for me to confess. Okay, like come on. That next episode of Wild Philosophy, Confessions from the closet.
With fucking Bill.
Confessions from the library closet. but anyways, no, he would write this shit like so like say I was like transcribing this whole situation and be like, Carlos gallantly walked into the room into like shit like that,
God.
and the wind just blew up and the light illuminated when it saw his beautifully sculpted face.
This track. Now I forgot that you mentioned he's a big Dragon Ball Z fan. This
takes
is
a lot.
My kin, so I know the type that think that they're being like super romantic.
Yeah,
like,
role playing shit.
It's a super cringy. Yeah.
So he wrote,
and it takes a lot to dry up a fucking Jehovah Witness twat, and he did it effectively.
So he wrote 4 books based on this girl in that way, to the point where the library had to sue him, and he's banned from publishing anything on Amazon.
I was gonna say, like, do we know where this person is? I feel like we should know where they are at all times.
Those are his manifestos.
It is, yeah.
That's horrifying.
He's like, fuck shootings, I'm just gonna use my Goku energy to fucking knock people out.
Is that girl still alive?
I think she still works there. I don't know. I should check.
She's chained in a basement.
Yeah, in Goku's basement.
Yeah. I should make her feel better and just write a more realistic version of what he wrote. You know, like, this fucking Jehovah's Witness twat, nothing like good about her life, walks into this library that she thinks she has a good job. It's like, really? Is that my life? Anyways, so what other jobs do I got? Okay, I have, I think, 3 more fucked up jobs. I think I'm going down in extremity of how fucked these jobs. Oh, do you know who Adam Quazillo is?
Yeah. What would you call him, Adam C? Why?
Yeah.
What did you fucking
No.
do?
No. That's Adam C from Jerks at Joe's. You think?
Yeah.
No, Quazillo is like the roast master dude at
okay,
roast
yeah,
battle.
I was thinking Adam C. He's always getting in fucking trouble.
No. Adam Quaz fucking from roast
that's
battle.
Adam K.
Yeah.
I know him. He's a funny dude. He's nice.
Yeah, he's awesome. I actually, we worked at the same place, and I didn't find out he's a stand-up comedian until after I left.
Really?
Yeah,
It's a very good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fucking logistics place. I think he still works there. Actually, do you know Winslow Dumaine?
No, but it's funny you mentioned that because like when I quit one of my jobs, Adam reached out to me and was like trying to get me a job where he works currently because he also used to work because that's what I used to do.
Yeah,
I worked in logistics.
Yeah,
so we had that in common.
Yeah. So we used to work at this logistics in Lincoln Park, Chicago, and it was, dude, it was my only office job. I got written up like 25 times coming from the factory.
Yep.
It was such a nightmare because it was like, what their whole scheme was they would promote you as quick as possible. That way, so say like they hired you in the call center for like $13 an hour. If I got promoted like 5 times, that way it never reaches the 6-month review. So I was at the point where I was like an account manager / salesman making $13 an hour. Because they just keep promoting. Oh, you're doing great here.
It's a fun little loophole. Yeah, they think that they can just give you they can pay you in like popcorn.
They're cross-training you,
like
increasing your potential, but not giving you more money.
Right, that's what they always say. This is a good opportunity for you. They always say that shit. This is a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, dude. It was so there was such shit there that was fucked up. Like, you know, it was one fucked up thing that I found was like, they would have like these cheesy little. It literally reminded me of the show The Office. They would have these parties where like let's get our team involved so you feel like family, you know. And I just remember all the things. Like, one of the things they did, which is so like, this is such bullshit. They'd have a raffle for like St. Jude's Hospital, where they walk around with like this Hinckley and Schmidt bottle, and you donate money, whatever,
sure.
And whatever money that is there at the end, you get like 50% of. So if at the end, if there was like $1,000, you win 500 goes to the hospital. What they do is they go first with the fucking bottle through like call service everybody making 13 an hour. So we're like, oh, I can only afford one ticket because it's $10.
God.
And then they go to fucking the coked out salesman. He's like, well, if I'm going to win, $500, I'm buying $200 worth of tickets.
Yeah.
And dude, nobody ever fucking won. But that job was so...
Yeah, that's a goddamn scam.
It was such bullshit. And I remember, what the fuck? You know what I got? So I got written up twice there. First time, this is so funny. Like, I didn't know... Okay. To this day, or now I finally do, because I educated myself with some NPR. I didn't know who the fuck Frida Kahlo was. And this is so weird. There was this girl there that got hired, and she had like some kind of crush on me or some shit, and I was already like engaged. So I remember we had and I've told Kelly about this, like we had like a work party at this bar with a bunch of food and stuff, and she's like, yo, so are we doing coke in the bathroom? And I'm like, no, I've never done coke in my life. Why do you think I have coke? She's like, hey, just follow me into the bathroom, I'll blow you anyways. I'm like, no, I'm good, like I'm getting out, So she was, I guess girls get pretty butthurt if you don't let them blow you, and from that moment on,
horrible problem to have.
I know.
I know, right?
We get you a purple star.
I know. Poor soul. But
You got me too.
Yeah, but from that moment on, she just like really like desperately, like if you guys were having a conversation, she'd try to break into every conversation, interrupt everything, try and like desperately like get attention from me. And I pissed her off one day because I was literally trying to take care of like something business involved, and she just like I don't know, she's like, hey, do you want to see my new jacket? And I'm just like, all right guys, how about this? How about we play a game where we take a shot every single time Meredith, her name is Meredith, and weirdly she looked exactly like a young version of Meredith from The Office. She had that fucking Irish, like, I
don't remember who Meredith is from The Office.
The red-haired woman. She kind of looks like the
older,
mom.
Oh,
older
okay.
woman, yeah.
Yeah.
Who his like whole shtick was being nasty.
Yeah.
That's who you're comparing this poor girl to?
She looked exactly like... She had that... Well, a lot of Irish and Polish broads, they look like they're 40 at 12. And that's the look...
Oh, I got me a nice Irish lady.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She looks real good.
All right, well... So I said, I'm like, all right, how about we take a shot every time Meredith interrupts us? By the way, we'll have ambulance standby for alcohol poisoning. And she got all fucking pissed off. So then she goes, listen, I was just trying to show you my pin on my jacket. I'm like, all right, show me your fucking pin. Let's get this over with. And I guess she had some like Frida Kahlo pin. And I'm like, who the fuck is Frida Kahlo? And this is exactly, I'm going by the description that she told me. She goes, oh, Frida Kahlo, she was this great activist. She was a painter and during communist times in a very dictatorship government.
Correct.
And she...
Unibrow.
Yeah, with a unibrow. So she's Bert and Ernie. And she...
That's really gross.
Well, she didn't give that part of the description, but she's like... Well, so they didn't let her express herself because there wasn't freedom of expression, so she fucked all these guys and kind of like was able to express herself in that way. She had to go through that pain. And I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't you say she had polio? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, so... I mean, I'm just guessing that's probably the only action she was getting. She's like, so she wanted to fuck these guys. She's like, yeah. I'm like, so she's famous for being a whore? And I didn't know
Marilyn Monroe.
because this is the way she explained it to me. I just didn't know what to say. I was literally trying to educate my ignorant ass.
Sure.
And I got written up. I like one day I go home. They're like, yeah, you're written up for sexual harassment. And I'm like trying to explain to my wife. I'm like, I didn't sexually harass anybody. They're like, no, it's because you used the word whore in the office. It's because you used the word whore. Then
This chick tried to blow me in a fucking closet.
Yeah, I know. It's like a little weird coming from her specifically.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess you could have gotten that blowjob as long as you didn't call her a whore.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Dude. So here's the second thing. This is the most hilarious thing that happened to me at that job was, okay, so I got moved. I had a panic attack. I hit my head on the fucking desk and fainted. Like, they needed to take me in an ambulance.
Anything to get out of work.
That's how fucking stressed. Yeah, that's how fucking stressed out I was at this job. So they moved me to a different. Like, you did logistics, right?
Yeah.
So they moved me to LTL, which I guess is just
Less than truckloads, yeah.
So it's easier because they're like all tracked, you know. So,
Yeah, I mean, everything's tracked. It's just they're not full container loads. I know, like, fucking shit.
Yeah, man. This might be your resume. Like,
No, I'm getting out of this fucking business.
No, but and after they see this whole episode, it's not good. You're never getting a logistics job.
That's fine.
No, but anyway, so here's what happened next. I get moved to LTL, and everybody at this logistics job that Adam works and I worked and Winslow worked, a lot of people hated LTL because you didn't have to track. The other ones were more sales influenced, like more commission based.
Sure.
LTL, it would be like, this needs to make from point A to point B by 3 days. LTL, you got like 3 months to fucking make the delivery.
Sure.
So they hated that department. And in that department, I go to this department, I kid you not, me and one other guy were the only white dudes. Because what happened was there were these 5 black ladies from, I think they were Bronzeville, like by Inglewood, like bad neighborhood, where they... And this place was a revolving door. So what happened is, like, all these white people like me would get a fucking panic attack, leave, and then these black women, they'd be like, yo, I got a job for you. So basically, like, all these women they grew up, like, within a block of each other. So they ran the fucking department, and I didn't fit in. I tried to fit in. They'd be like, yo, we having that barbecue this weekend. I'm like, hell yeah, you better have them pork chops. Like, what the fuck?
You don't like pork chops?
No, I said that.
Oh.
I told them, I'm like, you better have them pork chops. I'm gonna twerk like a motherfucker. And they're like, who the fuck is you? Like, who are you trying to fit in?
Motherfucker.
So I only talk. So the only other white dude. Here's the unfortunate thing. The only other white dude there. The best way I can describe him. If you saw him, he looked like an extra in Frasier. He had like a V-neck sweater.
Okay.
Like, just Abercrombie and Fitch model, right? And I don't even know if that exists anymore. That's how fucking old I am.
I don't think they do anymore.
Does Abercrombie and Finch exist anymore?
Yeah. So I started talking to him, and let's just put it this way. This guy, I was looking very closely to see if he was at the January 6th riots. Like the fucking Capitol storming. Because this guy was, I mean... And I had nobody else to talk to, and this guy every day he'd tell me like weird shit. Like once I got to know him, I'm like into black metal. I have like these battle vests, so he thought I was like some Antifa pussy or some shit. So he would constantly like egg me, like he'd be like, "Hey, you know that legally you can have a pipe bomb, right?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't know. How is that possible?" He goes, "Well, if you get it stamped by the ATF." I'm like, "Well, why the fuck would you want one?"
What's the ATF?
Arms something, firearms something.
Task Force?
Yeah, Arms Task Force, firearms or something. Like, it's what raids mob guys when they have weapons.
All right.
But, so, they raid the cartel a lot. So he's like, oh, if it's stamped by the ATF. I'm like, well, why would you want a fucking pipe bomb? He goes, well, this guy I know, he owns this land with coyotes. We explode those motherfuckers. I'm like, okay, cool.
Fucking hillbilly.
Yeah. And then like another day he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you can drive a tank legally?" And I'm like, "Okay, explain that one to me."
What are you planning?
Yeah.
I know.
Well, no, he was a prepper. You know what I'm talking about? He had like a bunker with like pickled fucking shit. He thought there was gonna be a race war.
Psycho is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Goddamn psycho.
So
conservative psychos.
So here's like how this hilarious thing ends up, like, blows up. This whole time he thinks I'm like this whatever Antifa liberal whatever because of my black metal shit, and he's like, yo, you should fucking go hunting with me. And I'm like, I would love to go hunting. I've never been hunting before. It's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna go hunting with me. I'm like, I am. What do I got to do? It's like, well, you got to get a FOID card first. I got a FOID card. It took like 1 day. You could get a FOID.
They act like it's so hard to get. Like, they look like my FOID card.
Yeah. So then he goes, then you got to get a hunter's license, which is 20 times harder than a
that
FOID
makes
card.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
And they even, you have to pass on the test how to load a muzzle loader. You know what that is?
Like an old timey gun.
A fucking musket. Yeah. You have to. Yeah.
The fuck do you get a musket from? A functional musket.
Yeah, how do you get a musket to even practice on?
There's a whole little niche clique of hunters who strictly use muskets.
Also, if you're fucking hunting, why would you want a musket?
Because they think it's like more challenging. And it's fucking hilarious too, because there's a shit ton of like Vine videos, because you're like supposed to, when I read about it, you know, you gotta load the right amount of gunpowder and stuff it the right way, and there's so many fucking videos where they put too much gunpowder near the firing pin, so it just blows their face off.
Yeah, no thank you.
So anyway, so I do this hunting license.
Just
I'm like,
imagine him, look at this catch. He just has one of those fucking cameras that just fucking explode when I take one picture.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
So he's like trying. He like doesn't believe that I'm gonna go hunting with him. Anyways, so I'm looking up all these guns and shit at work, and people see me. So then they fucking take me into the office, and here's the funny part. I thought I was getting a promotion, but here's the best part. The last conversation that I had before them like talking to me, my manager was having a birthday, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta get him something funny. We gotta get him something good." And the thing was, you know how every person has like one line that they say. Like today, I've been saying socially awkward a million fucking times.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah. My boss would always, like it's just that thing. It's human nature. Like, you know how in like Office Space, what does he say? I'm going to need those task reports.
Yeah, something like that.
TPS reports.
TPS report. Yeah. So my boss would always say, "Does that make sense?" He would explain something and be like, "So you gotta print this here, and then you gotta like email it to this address. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?" He would say that, and I found a company on Etsy that makes custom bobbleheads with a sound clip. I got one for my wife because she I always have crazy fucking ideas, and she goes, "Yeah, sure." And then when you flick the bobblehead, it goes, "Yeah, sure, yeah, sure." Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I wanted to get him that.
Now I want one.
So now I fucking go to, for you it'd be jamming. It'd be
jamming?
Yeah. I'm just jamming.
I'm jamming.
I want to jam with you. So fucking I'm like, this whole time I'm thinking of this birthday present. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna promote me. I go into the office, and they're like, "So Phil, do you like it here?" I'm like, "Oh, I fucking love it here. I'm doing great here." He's like, "Yeah, you think so?" I'm like, and I think I said something along the lines like, "Dude, have you seen how fast I've been doing things? I'm fucking blowing everyone away."
Oh.
And they're like, "Well,
raising."
It's funny you bring that up.
Yeah.
Right.
You go, and this whole time I am smirking because I'm just picturing his head bobbling, going, "Does that make sense? Does that make sense?" While he's asking me, "Somebody saw you looking up firearms at work, you know?" And I'm just like, no. This fucking psycho wants to take me hunting, but he doesn't. He'll never fucking take me hunting. So I'm trying to like win his psychotic acceptance, you know. So that's the second time I got in trouble there, and it was actually no. Another time I got in trouble, real quick, was I'm a proud fucking mooch at work. If there's free food, I'm the guy that when there's not one donut left, if there's 3 donuts left, I'm fucking taking all of them. That's the guy I am. So what happened is the CEO of the fucking logistics company came in to meet with like all these people, and they fucking like had a huge like Portillo's catering Italian beef hot dog, and it's fucking like 9 a.m. Who's fucking eating these things? Me. So they had this meeting untouched. I'm walking by it, I'm like, dude, I didn't fucking bring lunch today. So I went through the whole fucking buffet. I got like a stack of fucking Italian beef, buns, hot dogs, hamburgers. And my manager's like, he's like, where'd you get that? I'm like, oh, it was in that room. Isn't that for everybody? He's like, no, it's for the owner. Well, you just like taking free food? I'm just like, why? Is there more? And he flipped out when I said that shit. And like, yeah, I don't know. That's the second time I got in trouble for food. Remember how I said they do like these goofy, like tacky, like office things? like we're gonna have a putt today or something. Have a
like team building crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking stupid cocksucking fucking.
Yeah, let's force a bunch of people who hate their lives to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
And then the fucking little incentive they give you is like, well, fucking Friday is casual Friday or wacky shirt day. Like, fuck you, dude. I work in an office. I don't see anybody.
Friday is actually bring your ATF stamped pipe bomb to work day.
There you go.
But so no.
Bring your horse sister to work today.
Yeah.
Trade them like Pokemon cards.
bring your jacket full of horror buttons, right? To show up there. No, but they had a hot wing contest.
Okay.
And so they set up like this whole, like folding table with. They had a shit ton of plates for hot wings, a bunch of glasses of milk because they knew these. They knew these fucking. There's a lot of Mexican people there. They're like, all these white people are going to be hurling. They're not going to take this spice,
Yeah, that's fair.
So because they all had ghost pepper beat ups.
Well, no one could take ghost pepper anyway, regardless of race. Ghost pepper is fucking spicy.
Yeah, well,
fucking murder you.
Well,
yeah.
You ever had that one chip? That fucking.
No, I'm not doing that because I've seen too many people throw up and end up in a hospital.
Yeah, I took a little bite of a corner and fucking puked my brains out.
Yeah, no thank you.
I really didn't understand the level of spiciness. It destroys your life, everything about you.
That's what I've seen videos. It doesn't look like
cold sweats and everything. It's like, this is terrible.
I think you don't get reincarnated if you eat one of those.
Which fucking reminded me, I
burns
went to
the
a
rest
Thai
of it.
restaurant with him last time I was here, and he goes, yeah, it's fucking spicy, like 10 out of 10. And he's just sitting there with his fucking face on fire. He's like, wow, it's fucking hot. Like some curry he got or something. And the lady who worked there just actually came up and she goes, "Are you okay?" Like, yeah, fine, it's great. He's just like fucking just shoving rice in there.
I have tears running down my face. Like,
yeah, she goes, "Okay." And I could tell she's
like, why are you crying? Oh, because it's beautiful how great you made this meal. And she just like giggled. And it's like two people from the kitchen watching me.
He's got fucking ulcers that.
Well, at least he didn't return it like an asshole and try to be you.
I actually like spicy food a lot. But anyway, so this hot wing contest. This is what they did. Like, first shift ends at like 3:30. So they're like, all right, we're gonna have this contest at 3. So all of you can like, the last half hour, we'll let you team build and eat these wings. I didn't know shit about these wings because I don't fucking open these stupid, cheesy fucking emails, So 3:30 hits. They're already like done with the contest. There's all these fucking white people who threw up in the trash bags because it's so hot. I'm like getting ready to clock out, and once again, I forgot my lunch. So I go to the bathroom, and then I walk out. I'm like, there's a table full of hot wings. And I'm like, and I walk up, and there's like there's like a secretary there. I'm like, are these for anybody? And she's like, I guess they're other people's. I'm like, oh, they are? She's like, well, they're not going to eat them. We're going to throw them out. I'm like, so I could have them. She's like, yeah. And I like immediately before my manager came, because I already got in trouble, I ate like 7 of them full speed. She's like, holy fuck, you could have just won $200. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, we had a hot wing contest. I'm like, I'm just fucking hungry, bitch. Like, so that's the level of mooch. I have 2 more jobs.
I don't have the time.
All right, it's all good.
I have to go.
It's all good. Do we have time for one?
Yeah, let's do one more.
One more. All right. I worked at a this place called I shouldn't name that. How am I going to change his name? I'll call it Richard Jennifer. Okay, because I don't want to get in trouble. But I worked for a fucking place that made all the boating parts for a huge boating company. It was welding again. It was in I think Vernon Hills or something. And dude, this fucking company, okay, they called me. You know how like temp agencies call you every 3 months or some shit?
Yeah.
They called me. They're like, hey, you looking for a welding job? I'm like, yeah, sure. What about it? And they go, well, we're looking for you. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking temp agency. And they're like, I'm like, no, we're not. We're actually like actively looking on Indeed. We're a private company. I'm like, and you guys think I'm a good welder? Okay. And I walked in, they did that whole bullshit, are you willing to do overtime with me?
Yeah.
And dude, this place, I've never been micromanaged more, well maybe with my cunty mom. I've never been more micromanaged in my life than this. This place had a camera every 5 feet. Every door that you step through, you have to put a key code in, because what they would do is like, if you typed in your code's 456 and you type it in the bathroom and you go in there, they're like, yeah, Chris, you're supposed to clock out at 3:30. Why did you go to the bathroom at 2:45 and you stayed there till the end of your shift? What were you doing in there? And I'm like, you want video proof? I had beans last night. You gotta like.
Let's take a picture of your fucking shit and then send
Yeah.
it in. This is my reason.
Yeah.
for
The
being at the
timestamp
bathroom.
your log.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Those jobs suck, by
time
the way.
log my log. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of fucking jobs, especially the warehouse that they were sending to, where it's like if you went to take a piss, you're already behind.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, where were you? For
Well, that's why I
fucking
said,
3
like,
minutes. Like, go suck a dick.
That's
for
why I
almost,
said-
like for 3 minutes.
If your business crumbles over someone taking a 5-minute piss break, you have a shitty business.
Yeah,
You know.
and it's like that's why they said in Amazon there's people wearing like diapers, right?
Yeah.
and shitting themselves.
Pissing in bottles and buckets and shit.
So pissing in that fucking fat Indian dude's attic, right?
pissing in the attic.
No, but-
also pissing in a gallon of fucking milk. Empty gallon of milk.
Yeah. Oh god. Anyway, so so this place was micromanaging his shit, and then here's what happens. Like, there's several things that happen in this place, but the first thing that happens, they go, yeah, we hired you as a welder, but we can't trust you to weld these products yet. I'm like, well, then what the fuck are you gonna do? They're like, oh well, we're gonna have you do a little bit of assembly. I'm like, okay. Month in, I've moved from welding to assembly to grinding to polishing. They just keep fucking moving me wherever they need me. And I'm already into like polishing. This is the funny I had the trainer that trained me in polishing. So in polishing, what they do is you ever see like the side of how a magic bullet looks, like the metal's real shiny.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they get this like metal that looks raunchy as shit, and there's a fucking machine the size of a minivan with 3 belt sanders, and it just polishes it off it basically microscopically grinds it to look nice.
Yeah.
This woman I hated this fucking woman so much because she was like an ex-con. She was a ex-bartender, and like every time...
What? You say like both those things are related. Like that's just the person who had a job. I'm also an ex-bartender. Like I got a fucking record, dude.
It's like we're through. It's over. But like the thing that drove me nuts was when she'd get mad, she'd like flutter her hands around. She'd be like, "Phil, you know it," and I'm like, "Bitch, my dad used to punch me in the face. Do you understand what you're triggering? I do not want to knock out an old lady, okay?" And she would like get pissed. So
Why was that a natural reaction? To lose her fucking mind.
Because she'd get in fights, I don't know, in prison or in the fucking bar. You like, dude. She looked. You know who she reminded me of? The fucking in Kingpin. The you know what I'm talking about?
The old lady that they had to pay rent to.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't remember that movie.
Do you remember Something About Mary?
Yeah, vaguely.
I think that's
the
the
old
old lady
that's
from,
tan. The old lady that's tan in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's actually the old lady from the fucking.
She's the mom in Detroit Rock City.
She is the mom in Truck City. She's also the old lady that's like in the fucking Insidious movies, the one that helps them get to the other world.
Yeah.
Movies.
Well, so anyways, fucking the first day, she's trying to train me. The thing's coming through there's like a little piece of metal going through this belt sander that's running at 100 miles an hour. It gets jammed, and I'm like, I think you should take that out like with another piece of metal. She's like, no, I've done this. I'm the one who's training you. She puts her hand in there, crushes her fucking thumb. First day training me, breaks it in 3 places, and then like she's pissed off because they gave me her job. While she's like, when she came back, it was like, good fella, you Spider, that cast is bigger than your fucking head. Because she looked like she had a Mickey Mouse glove. She's just walking around with this fucking like tennis ball sized thumb, and everyone's just like having a good day,
Super supportive of everybody.
Yeah. So here's where shit gets, where shit hits the fan. They tried to move me to polishing, which polishing is you get fucking disgusting ass metal. There's a grinder, but instead of sand, it's like canvas cloth, and they give you this crack rock of wax, and you have to hold something in there until it looks like a hitch chrome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fucking bad for you, dude. The first day I got a cold because my throat got infected from the I had like
The
a
fine little dust.
the fine dust. I had a Homer Simpson like radiation suit on and a gas mask. And dude, when I came home, I thought I had like leprosy. My feet were black from the fucking dust, from the wax. Like it went through the suit, through my Vans shoes, through my socks, and my feet are fucking black. So I'm like, dude, I'm not having this job. Now here's what's fucking hilarious. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit, and they have to make their quota by the end of the year. Right? So they go, oh, well, we need somebody in polishing, so we're not paying like we're paying you as much as a welder. I'm like, but you moved me these many places. I'm putting my fucking 2 weeks in. Dude, they were so desperate to get their quota. They fucking made the HR I'm quitting. They made the HR lady go and fucking polishing.
Wow.
No joke. Like the HR lady looks like a goddamn Jersey Shore like fucking glitter makeup. She's got her hair all did.
Fucking Snooki.
Yeah. They put Snooki in the polishing, like in the fucking radiation suit to try and make the quota. But then I was like, why is this place so fucked up? Now here's the grand finale. Here's the last thing I'm saying. This place, remember I said it's called like Richard Jennifer?
Yeah.
It's not called that, but it's, when I was in training with the HR lady, I'm like, wait, the owner's name is Jim. So why would he call this shop Richard Jennifer? It's like, oh, because Richard is his middle name and Jennifer is his ex. I'm like, oh, fuck. That's like an old tattoo.
Yeah.
Like you get this business, it starts going well, and then you have to still keep your ex-wife's name in it. So I'm like, so whatever. We kept going, and then there's this floor manager named Scott, who I fucking hated so much because everybody was allowed to bring their own speakers in to like listen to music.
You insensitive prick. She died of polish poisoning.
yeah. Fucking, she probably polished her fucking nails in that afterwards. But anyway, I'm going out tonight, girls. But so. There's this guy Scott was a fucking asshole. Everybody knew. He was one of those guys that doesn't do anything because you know that he knows somebody. He's just there to collect a paycheck.
Sure, yeah.
And he would always get on my ass. There's 20 fucking Bluetooth speakers going. He goes, turn yours down. And by the way, side note, is the most hilarious thing? I have an iPod, and iPods aren't Bluetooth. So I had to buy this extension that when you click it, it connects to every Bluetooth in a 10-foot area.
Oh my god.
So I'm working with like this 20 Mexican guys, and then I click that thing and everybody's speaker like but anyway, so Diablo. Anyway, so fucking what happened is I'm like, I go to my manager, I'm like, how the fuck does Scott have a job here? Like, can we write him up for being a fucking asshole? And he's like, dude, I tried to write him up 8 times this week. Like, so how does he have a job here? He's like, well, you know how it's called Richard Jennifer? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, Scott's the reason why Jennifer's the ex. So he fucked the owner's wife, and then the owner kept him hired there.
Talk about being cucked.
Cucked. Yeah.
I mean, it's both their faults.
It is.
But I would not reward one of them.
Yeah. I don't know what that, like, if that's like some power trip of being a slave master of like...
Well, I mean, I guess you get to boss around the dude that fucked your wife, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I would just wash my hands of the whole thing, personally.
Yeah. I remember the way that job ended, I was so happy because the HR bitch went into polishing, and they were giving her out. They were giving out fucking turkeys.
Polishing
for
jobs.
They were giving out free turkeys for Christmas. So,
full fucking turkeys?
Yeah, like fucking Don King out of a fucking truck. And half the people didn't want to take them, so I brought like 5 turkeys home.
Where do you store turkeys? Where do you store multiple turkeys?
I have a Dahmer body freezer.
Do?
Yeah,
like the one we saw in that fucking abandoned house. Remember this shit?
Oh yeah.
Off of like fucking what is it? River Road or some shit.
Yeah.
It just came to my mind right now.
Yeah. Anyways, this has been quite an episode of us ranting, mostly me, I guess, about horrendous work jobs. I hope you enjoyed it. Chris, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
And pretty soon, I mean, it's going to be on YouTube when we roast each other.
When are you releasing this?
I'm going to release this, I'll try in a week. It should be a week, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So till then, we will see the roast battle. That I'm saying that'll be on YouTube as well.
Oh, the roast battle?
Yeah. So you'll see how much I bomb with my 4 months experience. It'll be great. It'll be much greater than this episode. Anyways, thank you for getting wild. Peace.